and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will be the chair for tonight one more time. Commissioner Hopes had a family event that he had to attend, so we will move on. The first item on the agenda for tonight is the approval of the minutes from our December 15th meeting.
I have no corrections.
I did not see any as well, so.
I'll make the motion that we approve the minutes for December 15th, 2021.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Item number 2 is the Employee of the Month, Kellie Payne.
Oh, you already said it for me, but right here it says state your full name.
That was from last night's public hearings.
So, to start off our 2022 year, our Employee of the Month is Aubrey Kirkwood. She is from our rec department. She has done a great job as the assistant supervisor out there. She has been with us since March of 2021. And actually, Kay nominated her, so I'm going to let her come up and say why she nominated her.
Nice.
Aubrey, you can come up too.
So when Aubrey came in, she was just this scared little thing, and she was looking at me like, what do I do? And so we told her what she did, and she'd come in and we'd walk her through it. And I don't think she quite knew what she was getting into when she asked for the job. She took on 3 jobs at one time. She was great at it. She got the money, she'd bring the deposits in, scheduled events. She's flipped hamburgers, shoveled snow. She's done a little bit of everything. And her cheerfulness and her smile when she walks by is just an asset to the county. And the little cowgirls really stepped up out there, and I appreciate her.
I just want to continue by saying she continues to step up. Even today was like, oh, Alex, I got you. I'll train you on that. Don't worry. So we appreciate her.
Thank you, everybody. It has been a pleasure working for Carbon County. I've enjoyed my time here. I haven't been here long, but I've met many kind and wonderful people like Kay and Tara that have helped me along my way. I told everybody today my favorite memory is about a week into it. Kay called me and she said, do you have money for us? And I said, what money? And she said, okay. And she walked me through it, and it was great. Everybody has just been so kind and wonderful.
Yeah, congratulations, Aubrey, and you have been fun to work with out there, and she knows a little bit about everything. Even ask her about the motocross track, and she can answer, so thank you, Aubrey.
Congratulations, Aubrey.
We'll move on to item number 3, discussion regarding girls softball. Andy Jones.
Hello, Commissioners. Good to see you. Happy New Year. My name is Andy Jones. You both know me. Casey knows me as well. We've been part of a new formation of a girls' county softball league. We've been talking about this since late fall last year. We've got a committee and a board set forth. Our whole objective of this league is to mirror image the boys league that has been ongoing in our county, in our city for years and years, way before I was a young man and even born. But we would like to start a league similar to that for the girls here in this county. We've got a growing number of girls that are interested in being part of a competitive league, more than just what the rec program offers. We've appreciated that rec program for years, but we've set forth a survey last fall, and we've got preliminary numbers of about 120 to 150 with, I'm sure, more numbers than that. That was just kind of a survey we threw out to see where we sat. I'd like to introduce our board members. Our president is Tori Nelson. We have a few of them here today. She's our president. I've been nominated as the vice president. Christina Thane is our secretary, and Lori Molinar is our treasurer. Lori's here today. We've got a few committee members as well that are here. Todd Richardson and Casey Wilson are both back there in the nosebleeds. And we also have Ernie and his wife, Lori Prettyman. And along with that, we have Holly Munson from Emery County helping. So with this, we are including the Emery County interest because it is there. We'll be focusing on ages 6 to 18, which is a huge age group. We want to start our league and kind of mirror image it with the boys, and they usually start sometime around April, and we'll go through June-ish. We have some concerns with this, though, and we've met several times about it. We've got some problems that we would like to address the commission about. The major problem is field availability. We don't have it, other than we do have access to South Park here in Price City, and we also do have access to 2 fields in Wellington that have been approved for us to play on. With this age group, we don't have enough field time, field access to be able to do it. We know that the fairgrounds is there for our community. We appreciate that. We do, however, know that some of them, those fields are granted for the high school to use, and also USU Eastern. We are not here to take away from their programs, but we do know that there's one extra field there that if we could get your permission to play on during those times, that would be appreciated. Along with that, we're in dire need of some funds to start up our program. We're not here to ask for funds, but we're here to ask maybe some permission from you guys to sell concessions at our games. Me being part, and us, not just me, but several of us have been part of the boys program forever, and we understand that the fundraising and the funds come from that concession stand a great deal. Our league will be pretty much self-sufficient. It'll help. It'll be sponsored by businesses and fundraising. So if we could ask for permission to sell concessions, which would help us greatly to start buying gear, uniforms, maybe help upkeep with the fields. That's what the boys program does as well. They're a self-sufficient league, and it's ran forever. We've got a great group of people that know how to work this, and for me to be on board and everybody else that I've talked to that are helping us, we want to make this stick forever and ever. We want to have the opportunity for the girls to have the same opportunity to play long term just as much as the boys have. It's an awesome, entertaining game, and I know we've talked about soccer in the past, and we've done all that for those. We're asking for the same support and help for our program from you guys. We would greatly coordinate with the high school and the college in utilizing those other fields as long as they're not playing on them, maybe on away games or they're doing something else. We could use those fields, but that is all I have to present to you. If you got any questions for us, we'll feel free to answer them for you. If you got any comments, I'd be open to you.
No, I appreciate that. And, those fields are in high demand. As you said, the university does not have their own softball field. The high school took theirs out, so they no longer have a high school field. So the girls use those quite often out there for practice and for games. So, and roughly about the same time that you guys would want to use them as well. So there'd need to be a lot of coordination as far as who gets to practice when, because I imagine they'd want to practice almost daily out there, like the other teams do as well. So I'm not opposed to it by any stretch. It would just be a little bit of, like I say, a little coordination and scheduling would be needed, just like they do with the baseball fields through town. So the other thing too is what we would have to do with the rec department too is kind of set a standard for the fields. What we've seen is when the high school shows up, they want them a certain way. When the university shows up, they want them a different way. And then whenever the rec puts on a tournament, those folks that come in and want their field a certain way as well, fence setups and all, we can work through all that, just as long as we're understanding that going forth from day one and trying not to change too much. I think we could probably make this work. As far as the concessions, again, that's something that we can work through as well. At first glance, I'm not opposed to that, but we will have to maintain those fields a little bit, especially if they're getting heavier play on them. We do have certain days where we mow, certain days where we'll fertilize and all that. So again, just a lot of coordination. But if the expectations are up front and everybody understands how that's going to be, including the parents, as you know, parents can be pretty fun as well when they're involved with their kids' sports. So if we can come to an understanding and draft up something like that everybody's agrees to, I don't see this not happening.
Okay. One last thing I want to comment is our dream is to make this stick. Like I said, we want to bring huge tournaments, possibly in the summertime, regional type, state type tournaments such as the boys have in the last several years. And I've been part of those committees where they've been a huge success to our county and to our city. So we want to make that be a part of this area. And we've got the approval from the state Babe Ruth coordinators. They're totally on board with helping and supporting with this. Not only getting it generated in our counties, but outlying counties where we can bring those other teams here. So we want to make it work, and it's whatever we got to do on our part, we'll be glad to do it.
And did you want to start that this March?
Yeah, we do this
year. You want to start it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to, probably what we got to do is set up a meeting, sit down with the rec department and your, what is the name of the softball league you guys are starting? Or have you come up with a name yet?
We're just going to be under the Babe Ruth. There's a section with Babe Ruth that we'll be part of, so it's a Babe Ruth league for girls softball.
Okay.
Curtin Eastern Babe Ruth softball.
Okay. Yeah, I think if we can set up a meeting and just see what your expectations are and what we can do. And, the age group you say from 6 to 18, I'm sure there's not going to be just one practice on one field. It's going to be multiple practices.
Practices are going to be a little bit different because it takes more field time for that, and we understand that. But if we can start with game times, and we want to make this go to, it's been my dream to build several fields in my life. I just don't have funding for it. I want to see several more fields built in this county. I've been part of this a long time. I have girls in my family, Larry. I've coached, been part of their teams, been outlying areas where this stuff brings a lot of revenue to cities and towns. And you've probably heard this over and over and over, but I'm a witness of all of that. And I want to bring it here to Carbon County. I think it'll help. It'll benefit everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for your time, commissioners. We'll look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We own a field in Kenilworth, but it's dirt.
We might have to utilize it.
The gas well that was on it is gone, I think, now. So
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
Andy.
We'll move on to item number 4, which is consideration and possible approval of Wendy Berryman to be appointed to the Carbon County Recreation Transportation Special Service District.
So maybe I could address that one. Prior to the end of the year, there was advertisements that went out for all of the vacancies on boards, and there was one potential vacancy in the Carbon County Recreation and Transportation Special Service District. After we made some appointments, Wendy was approached by one of the board members and agreed to put her name in to serve. So I would, if there's no more discussion, I'd make the motion that we appoint Wendy Berryman to the Recreation Transportation Special Service District.
Okay, I'll step down in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I missed this too. If we could, I'd like to, we'd like to make an announcement. It's not on the agenda, but it's just more of a public information announcement. Commissioner Janssen?
Yeah, there is a need for coal-reliant communities to have some additional help to diversify our economy, to be able to not lose our people to our area. And the federal government has committed some large amounts of money to coal-reliant communities. And so there was a grant process that was begun some time ago, and a fairly large amount of money available for step one in that grant process. The state of Utah asked for some possible areas where that money could be used, and there was a group that were pulled together with Carbon, Emery, Grand, San Juan counties. I think maybe Uinta Basin is even involved in that, and put together an idea of taking some of the money that may be available and enhancing the research center over in Emery County. And the idea of that grant was to include a region in it. So how could the region benefit, and what could we do here in Carbon County and Emery County and these other counties to help move away from coal? And so there was a lot of effort that went into this. There were folks that put an application together. The Association of Local Governments spearheaded it. And the application was chosen by the state of Utah to be their application to the federal government. So that was turned in. I think there were 600 applicants, and our area was chosen to be one of the, I think they awarded 50 different step one approvals that gave this group a certain amount of money to begin some engineering and some planning. And so we've been awarded that first step. Carbon County's part of that would involve our airport and some expansion to the university's need at the airport for their flight mechanics or airplane mechanics course that will require a new building and a hangar for them to work out of as they tear airplanes apart and fix them and learn how to be mechanics on them. So, and the university would receive some money in this grant as well that would help them expand some of the training that they're able to do to help diversify their programs and help future industries come in. So the people involved in this from these counties have set a public meeting, and it's called the Build Back Inaugural Tour. So on January 13th and January 14th, there's several events that will occur, and the public has been invited to it. So on January 13th at 6 p.m. at the atrium of the Business Technical Assistance Facility on Carbon Avenue and 4th South, there would be the first public meeting where all those that are involved will be able to, as folks come to the setting, they'll be able to talk to folks from the university, people from Emery County, people from Carbon County, who all have part of this movement going forward, so that can be information for everybody. The following day, on the 14th of January, at 10:30, there will be a tour of the aviation campus project at our airport. And then at noon, they will have a lunch back at the BTAC building. And then at 1:30, there will be, we'll go up to the university here, USUE, and there will be some presentations made up there. And then at 3:30 that day, they will travel over to Orangeville, where the research center is located. And there will be a tour of that facility. And then at 6 p.m., there would be a second public meeting and dinner in Castledale. So anybody interested in learning about that or being part of that, it would be helpful, not only for information for individuals, but it's helpful in the next step of this in trying to get the second round of funding, which is a large amount of money. So.
Yeah, it's. I guess everybody has their opinion on how this money is being doled out, but if we can use it for benefit for our community to see growth and potential expansion for the airport and mechanics program, you ask the Grand Junction Airport, Montrose in Colorado, their airport, and the Provo Airport, what the mechanics programs have done for them and the other industries that's brought in. It's a worthwhile spending of money. So I appreciate that, Commissioner Janssen.
You bet.
Moving on, we'll go to item number 5, the discussion regarding the Helper City Community Reinvestment Agency dissolving the Castlegate Community Reinvestment Project area.
Lynn, do you want to help us with that one?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So on December 2nd, the Helper City Community Reinvestment Agency dissolved the Castlegate Community Reinvestment Project area. Carbon County has an interlocal agreement with the Helper City Redevelopment Agency regarding the tax increment for this area, this project area. Since the project area has been dissolved, the interlocal agreement with Carbon County is no longer needed. So there's no formal action that we need to take in order to dissolve the interlocal agreement, but we just wanted to make note of it at the meeting that it is, the project area is dissolved, and so the interlocal agreement as well is no longer needed.
And the reason for this action is basically the owner who had asked for the incentive sold the property, and the new owner does not receive that same incentive. So this is just, as you said, dissolving, going away. So,
Yes.
Okay. So no motions needed on it?
No motions needed.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lynn. We'll move on to item number 6, consideration and possible approval of the professional service agreement with Castleview Hospital to provide trauma therapy for children at the Children's Justice Center. Ms. Shelley Wright, come and address that.
Yes, thanks, commissioners. Trying to explain how this project came about.
So, as you might recall, the Children's Justice Centers across the state of Utah, we belong to and are accredited members of the National Children's Alliance. The National Children's Alliance is kind of the segue of the federal funding that the states get, that all the centers get across the state and across the nation to run our children's justice centers, do our programs, mental health, medical programs, investigative programs. The National Children's Alliance was approached by the Cambia, it's like a Cambia Behavioral Health or Health Project, and they wanted to select a state that they can, and not really invest money because they're not making money, but it's money for rural communities to connect children to more opportunities for therapy. And so the National Children's Alliance selected Utah to be the agency out of all the states that are part of the National Children's Alliance. So with that being said, obviously only a select number of rural communities or rural centers were recipients of this money. We've been working on this project for 6 months or longer and trying to get this up and running. We were charged with trying to find a therapist to create this agreement with. And so it just so happens in one of our advisory board meetings, it was Ryan Pugh, the CFO of the hospital, who approached me and said, "Hey, I think the hospital might be able to help you. We have Danette Monier, who's the therapist, and we might be able to work something out." So in between that, the Cambia Project created a PSA between us and the Cambia Project, which I think I sent you a copy of that, but I forgot to have it as part of this because there's 2 agreements that need to be signed. The PSA with the Cambia Project and NCA, and the PSA between us and Castleview. On both agreements, they have my name listed as the person to sign. So it's supposed to be a year and a half. It's supposed to end in December 2022. If there's funding left over, they're considering extending it. And in our area, there is funding left over. So we would essentially use the therapist from Castleview Hospital, and we would send some of our kiddos from the Children's Justice Center to therapy there when we're full. And right now we're full, and we have a waiting list for these kiddos. So so their therapist, mainly Danette Monier, would be contracted, or we'd have a PSA between Castleview and us to have her see those kiddos. And it comes to $80 a session, and that's how it's broken up. So, I mean, there will be, my guess is, a lot of money left over that we will spend because she can't commit to 15 hours a week. She may be able to commit to 5. And so, that's what we're working on, is to try and get our kiddos therapy, and they don't have to have a waiting list, and we don't have to have them on a waiting list. So that's how this works. So how the funding would work is Castleview Hospital would send us an invoice. We would do how we do all of our claims right now, and then we would send a report and an invoice to National Children's Alliance, and they would reimburse the county for the costs that went into this.
And looking at the agreement here too, I see there's a not to exceed number as well. So
right.
It does have a control on it from that side as well. Seth, do you have any issue as far as how Shelley's explained the billing?
There is an issue with the PSA, and I've been in contact with Ryan Pugh a couple weeks ago, and he has not got back to me with the change. Let's see, what page is it on?
On that medication portion?
I think it's, yes. I'm not sure where he come up with that, but when we looked it over, I told Linnell, I'm like, no, we don't have funding for the medication, and I informed him about that and requested that he take it off of the agreement. I tried to take it off, but I don't have the editing rights, so I'm just waiting for him to take that off. And it didn't seem like there was going to be an issue, but he hasn't sent me a new updated PSA.
Lynn, do you have any problem with Shelley signing this agreement pending that removal of the medication charge?
I think we could approve, the commissioners could approve the agreement pending the removal of the medication charge, but I don't think we should sign it. I don't think anybody should sign it until they actually give us a new copy that is correct.
Correct. I felt the same way. What about the PSA between Carbon County and National Children's Alliance?
I thought that one was fine to
Yeah.
go ahead and approve and sign.
Okay.
I don't have any questions. I guess I could make a motion that, number one, Shelley be authorized to sign the document, both documents, after that change has been made to page 7,
Okay.
like you have recommended, and allow you to enter into those agreements with the
Castleview.
PSA and Castleview Hospital.
Okay, I'll step down in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it. We will move on to item number 7, which is the consideration and possible approval of the Janssen, Johnson & Johnson Opioid Settlement Agreement. Lynn, did you want to talk to this one?
There have been a number of opioid settlement agreements that have been coming through for the commission's approval. This is similar to the others that the commissioners have approved, and will make it so that a larger settlement can take place, and then the money will be distributed to the county if there's enough support from the different areas, this can all take place. But hopefully it's going to go through, and the commissioners should consider if they want to approve this one as well.
Yeah, at our last meeting, there's all these different moving pieces on it, but the last meeting we approved the agreement with, was it McKesson, Cardinal Health, and Amerisource Bergen?
Yes.
So there's all kinds of litigation and things going on at this point, so.
No questions, and I would make the motion that we authorize Commissioner Hopes to sign the contract. It's a docu-sign, and go ahead and enter into this agreement with them.
Okay, I'll step down in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. And
Motion to adjourn.
we are adjourned. Thank you.